Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. So, today we are gathered here together to listen to Father George. He's a priest and a social worker, and he works among the in Sumanahalli Center, Bangalore. And he has a master's in social work, and he has also done his doctorate in sociology. And he has written a book named The Empty Nest on rehabilitation model for leprosy. Yeah, and he has been conferred the national award from the government of India in 2003. In Mother Teresa's award for selfless service in 2012, Best Citizen of Bengaluru award from Namma Bengaluru Foundation in 2013, and Excellence in Social Work award in 2019. So Father George has of awards, and he has also tirelessly worked among leprosy people, as well as has established the de-addiction center called the Hope Recovery Center in Belgaum for all alcoholics and drug addicts. He has also set up two centers for HIV affected persons in Bangalore and Belgaum called Support. He has established schools and a garment manufacturing unit for leprosy patients. His latest social work program is called Project Vision, which was started in 2013 for the visually challenged people. It has a rural eye care campus near Gauri B. Danur for the eye care facilities for the rural poor. So he has also donated most of his prize amount for the charity work. So if we need the full details of what Father George has been doing, we have his website shared in our WhatsApp groups. So please do visit the website. So today we are Life Connect. We are going to listen to Father George, who will be sharing with us how we can have a life of meaningfulness serving the. So, so we will be listening to him to understand how we can have meaning in our lives, purpose in our lives through serving people. So thank you, Father George, for coming this evening to present amongst us, and over to you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Please feel the freedom to unmute whenever you would like to, and then be part of the discussion, because we are just about 20 people, and so I don't want to keep it as a lecture. We will have more of it as a kind of a discussion. Okay, so feel free anytime to come in and be part of the discussions. I would like to start by saluting one person, none other than Dr. Leda, because I think it was Sibu George who works with me, who is my collaborator for all my social initiatives. He is also in the call here. So he was the one who one day told me there is this lady called Dr. Leda, and she is trying to, get involved with the COVID-related activities and asking for some collaboration. Well, we as a group, we have always been looking for good collaborators, because we believe that whatever we have been able to do was just because we had nice partners. And so I was very happy when I heard about Dr. Leda being interested to collaborate. And I said, let us have a meeting. Being COVID time, we didn't meet physically, but we met online. And I was really impressed by the kind of commitment what she had expressed, and she was already getting involved with a lot of activities. And so we said, let's see what we can do together. So what began in a very small way in the last 2 years, 3 years, has developed into a very big intervention. We have been able to support together a lot of children's education, a lot of work during the COVID time with food, with medication, with support for burial of people who died, and giving continued support for widows and children, orphans who lost their parents. So I think the whole momentum picked up all because of the commitment of one person, and that is Dr. Leda. And in fact, after three years, I had the opportunity to meet her directly, I think sometime last month, and have a cup of tea with her. And I'm very happy to be connected with Dr. Lada and the whole team of people behind her. I'm sure many of you are part of this wonderful work being done by DRM, either as directly being volunteers working on the ground, as people who are contributing in various ways. Many of you are contributing your time, your talents, your efforts, and also your precious money. So I'm indeed privileged to be with a group of people who are so socially committed. I seriously don't think you need a lecture on social commitment and meaning in life, because all of you are people who are already experiencing that. Okay, so let this be a time when all of us could share about those experiences of our life, when we can tell others what we have done and listen to each other's stories, and then get strengthened by what we do and what we could do. And maybe by the end of the session, we can also look at something that we can do together. Okay, so that is by way of introduction. I think we as socially conscious people, and all of us being global citizens, we cannot think of today without being feeling solidarity with the people who are there in Turkey and in Syria, isn't it? So we are all watching the news on the TV. I'm sure we are all distressed about the situation there, how people are suffering, and how we are close to losing, I think, about 40,000 people already. And according to World Health Organization and UN, the figures may be much higher when we take the final numbers. So this is definitely one of the most disastrous of global natural disasters. And let us begin by expressing and feeling our solidarity with all the people there. People who lost their lives, people who lost their beloved people, people who are still struggling to survive. I'm sure even though it is 4 or 5 days now, there would be still, people live hoping for a miracle to save their lives. So I'm really filled with a lot of sadness with me to feel that we are meeting at a time when those people must be really praying for a miracle that they could have their lives saved. Let us also pray for all those people involved in the rescue work there. So many of them are involved in this difficult work of finding those who are still alive, people who are really putting their life to risk in order to find someone alive, people who are coming there from all parts of the world, but especially the Indian army people are there in large numbers with the assistance of even dogs who could identify people live below the debris. So there are a whole lot of people who are involved in this whole process. So can we begin by closing your eyes for a moment and saying a silent prayer for all of them, for the country, Syria, Turkey, and the government, the global agencies, the people involved all those who lost their lives, the families. We'll spend a moment of silence and express our solidarity with them, and also pray for God's blessings on every one of them. Thank you. Now that we are actually into this thought about Turkey and Syria, would some of you like to share your thoughts on this? Anything you want to share about Syria, Turkey, that's there in your mind, you want to express? You're welcome. Do you think there is something that we could do? We are 5,500 kilometers away from Turkey. Yeah. Do you think there is something we can do? Remotely, directly?
Remotely, we can pray or send money. I don't know. You have only handled the tsunami victims. You have built houses for them. So you should guide us. I don't know. It is very difficult. So heart-wrenching to see the pictures.
Actually, the people in Syria, they're feeling very abandoned, very sad it is. So I think first thing is prayer. We have to just intercede. God will show himself strong on behalf of those people who are depending on him and who are there. And then I really don't know. I cannot say how we can help them any other way right now.
Thank you. So as Lata said, prayer, of course, is one thing that we can definitely do. And we should not leave them to feel that they are abandoned, and they should not feel that the world is not understanding their struggle. I think it's very important for them to recognize that the humanity is with them, because we believe that the world is one family, isn't it? We all believe that we're all part of the global family. So when one part of humanity is suffering, it is definitely our responsibility to express those feelings in some way or the other. Anybody has any bright ideas on some expressions of solidarity that we could do? I am in touch with some of the global agencies like Plan International, which is an agency working for children in disasters. We are discussing with them to see whether we can do something on the ground. We are in touch with the church there in Turkey and Syria, some of the organizations who are involved in that. We have the Middle East Council of Churches, Middle Eastern Council of Churches, MECC, which is the one coordinating with various church agencies in the Middle East. We are also trying to get in touch with them. So we are trying to see if there are some entry points where some direct work can be done, because I'm not happy. Of course, we all need to pray, but it's not enough for us to pray. We need to look at areas of intervention if at all that is possible. So we are trying to create some links and opportunities. So if I get to know something that directly can be done, I will definitely get back to you, and maybe as DRM, we could do or plan something commonly. But are all of you feeling that something should be done, and are you all willing to partner if we start something?
Sure, Father.
Can you raise your hand?
100%.
Symbolically, you can also show a symbol of collaboration in your this one, if you think we could do something together. Yeah, or if you feel that something must be done. Yes, I can see all those who are visible have raised their hands. So I take it for granted that more of you definitely would be interested to do something together. I'm just getting a thought. Do you think that something symbolically in one place, even a candlelight prayer symbolically, maybe in a place like Bangalore would be meaningful? Do you think it's nice to do that? We could all organize it together. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know how many of you are from Bangalore per se. Do you think coming together maybe in a place like MG Road or somewhere, where we could even come together for a candlelight evening prayer, just to express our solidarity? We want to be with them, as Shantala was saying. We don't want them to feel that the world is not listening to their stories, or world is not understanding their pain. I don't want them to be left alone. I think it's very important and to feel that, yes, the world is concerned about us, though they may not get directly things from us, but I think that feeling is the global community is with us itself is a great relief. I'm sure now with the media being so alive, they will definitely get to know these expressions of solidarity that we could show. So all those of you who think that something must be done, maybe raise your hands, or you could share those in the chat box so we can take it forward. Okay. So having said this, today the whole topic is about finding meaning in life, through service. I'm sure we are all people who have gone or grown in our own lives by having interventions which are meaningful. We all have been able to find meaning in our lives. So I'm not talking to a group of school children or college girls and boys about meaning in life, because we are all people who already find meaning in our life, because I know who are the kind of people involved in this. Okay. I would like to share with you the story of what happened yesterday at the Sumanahalli center where I work. I work at the Sumanahalli Society, which is committed to the cause of leprosy, HIV, and disabilities. This is a 45-year-old organization, started with leprosy care, and then we moved on to also care for people with similar kind of experiences in life, like those affected by HIV and disabilities. And we developed a beautiful program to enable people from those backgrounds to get mainstreamed into the society. So we started with treatment, then we moved on to providing them education, then we give them vocational training, then we try to get them job. We have got about 500 people government jobs by creating a reservation in government jobs for leprosy cured people. You go to any government hospital in Karnataka, you will find people from the Sumanali Society working there. And once they get a government job, they get everything. They get good salary, they get dignity. Even those who rejected them from the family, they come back to them. Even healthy people come forward to marry them. And last month, we had a program to celebrate our 45 years. And one of those people rehabilitated, they came and told us that, when she retired, she was getting a salary of 90,000 rupees. You should remember, this was a lady who came as a beggar, arrested from the road by the police and brought to our center about 25 years ago. And today, she is able to retire from government service, drawing a salary of about 90,000 rupees. After getting job, we get houses for them. We have built about 300 houses in different parts of Bangalore. And then we get them married. We get them married because most of them have lost their families. And in India, to get a marriage done without family support is very difficult. So sometimes we have to stand in as their parents, their brothers, sisters, and we conduct the marriage in our own campus. So having educated, trained, got job, getting house, getting married, we put them back to the society. So like this, about 11,000 people we have been able to rehabilitate in the last 45 years. So this is a place where I live for the last 14 years, I have been part of this society. And looking back to my life, I can very well say that the happiest years of my life have been spent with these people affected by leprosy, HIV, and disabilities in our center. I have worked in schools. I have worked in large parishes. I have built churches. But I never got so much of joy in my life as when I was working and living with these most vulnerable groups of people. So that brings me to this question. What gives you meaning in life? What gives you satisfaction in life? What makes you to feel that your life is worth living? So what is that one thing that can make us happy and satisfied in life? I definitely feel that it is when we do things for the last, the least, and the lost that we find meaning in life. I began by saying that we had a very interesting program yesterday at Sumanahalli Society when we were giving awards for people who worked in the Sumanahalli Society for many years. So we awarded 3 people yesterday because we were concluding the leprosy fortnight yesterday. 30th, as many of you may know, is actually the anti-leprosy day because of Gandhiji's death anniversary. Gandhiji was someone who dreamt of a country without leprosy. So his death anniversary is observed as anti-leprosy day. And beginning from that day till today, actually the country is celebrating anti-leprosy fortnight. So concluding that program yesterday, we honored 3 people who were working in our society. So one was Father Sriyak, who was the first priest to be the director of our place. He was there for 4 years, and now he is working in Europe. So we honored him. We honored also a couple, one Prabhakaran and Lily, who were working with us for about 20 years plus as our first field workers. So when they came yesterday, they were sharing stories of their life. Father Sriyak is about 70 years old now. Lily and Prabhakaran are there in their 60s. And yesterday when they were honored in their response speech, they were saying that what brought them meaning of life was actually the services they could bring to the leprosy affected people. They were going from house to house to identify new cases. And there were families where they were keeping hiding leprosy affected people for long, because once the neighbors come to know there is a leprosy case in the family, they would be totally rejected. So these field workers were able to give them medication and cure them without anybody knowing it. And some of them had already developed disabilities. Their hands were claw hands. And anybody could recognize that they were leprosy patients. So we had to bring them over to our center, provide them residential care. We had to operate their hands to make it look all right through a reconstructive surgery. And today, yesterday, in fact, one of them was looking at those hands that they had got operated and seeing their, fully functional fingers. And she is now one of those people, a nurse in the hospital. And she is earning well. So she was, in fact, falling down to the feet of, these field workers and telling them, it's only because of you that I could find a means to live in this world. I was unwanted, uncared for, rejected by everybody. But because of you, I was able to live a dignified living. Today, society accepts me. Society is helping me. Society is looking up to me because I'm a government employee. All because of that little care, what you brought to my life. Today, I am what I am only because of you. So these three people who were awarded, listening to these stories, they were crying with tears of joy. And when they were asked to speak, they just couldn't speak because they were filled with so much of joy. They were sobbing. They said, our life is worth it because of what we have been able to do. So, my dear friends, this is what is going to bring meaning to our life, to every one of us. And I was very fortunate that I was able to get involved with many of those groups of people in the society who were in such distressful situations. I began my work by starting a de-addiction center for alcoholics. It's called Hope Recovery Center in Belgaum. And we know that the life of people in a family where there is an alcoholic, it is very, very difficult. So we have been able to treat about 12,000 people. Many of those families have come back and they said, today we are able to live well because of you. So that is the joy that we get from this work that we do. The second work of ours was setting up care centers for people with HIV. Just like leprosy affected people, we have large number of people who were affected by HIV. And so we started the support center in Bangalore in 2005 and a support center in Belgaum in 2008. And both this put together, we have a 50-bedded capacity to take care of destitute HIV affected people. This morning, I was visiting one of them. His name is one Prabhakaran. He had come to our center about 5 years ago. We treated him and put him on ART treatment. He is healthy. He married one of the inmates from our own center. We conducted the wedding in our place. So today, Prabhakaran and Radna, they are couples, very happy couples. But 2 months ago, they called us saying that this man is affected by cancer. So he asked whether he can come back to our center. He came back 2 months ago. We got him operated in Kidwai. And this morning when I went to his room, this man and his wife, both of them were literally hugging me. And they said, Father, despite HIV, despite cancer, today we are alive only because of you. So I believe that the joy of living comes from those moments that we can really feel when people who got a lease of life because of us, come back to us and they are able to, express that. So that's a joy that we have. I've been able to experience in my life. When tsunami happened, which was a global disaster, as we know, more than 216,000 people died. 26th of December 2004, we were in Sumanahalli, and one of our staff said, let us go to Kadalur. Kadalur is the closest place in Tamil Nadu, which we thought we could reach fast. So one of our staff said, we must do something. We didn't know what to do. So we spent a few hours, we got our invites, everybody, we made some chapatis and we left to Kadalur the next morning with whatever medicines we could take. So we thought we'll distribute all this for 1 or 2 days and we will come back. But we came back from Kadalur after 2 years. After 2 years. because the kind of situation what we saw there was so touching. We began with burying the dead bodies, and then there were people who had lost their houses. They didn't know where to go. I still remember the story of this pregnant woman, pregnant lady who was about to give birth to a child, and the family was so panicking. They said, we don't know where to take this because hospitals were full of dead bodies. They couldn't take this lady to a hospital. So we built a small temporary shed for her, and she gave birth to a girl child just 2 days after tsunami. The day after that, she took this little baby, brought to one of those sisters in our group and asked us for Sister Mary, what name shall I give to this child? Sister Mary said, since we had gone from Sumanahali, Sister Mary said, we'll give her name of Sumana. Sumana. In fact, Sumanahali means village of people of good heart. Sumana means, good mind, good heart. So that girl was given this name, Sumana. And one of the best experiences in my life was to go back to meet this girl last year. Last year, we went to Kadalur. We went to her village. And when we went and knocked at her house, out came Sumana. She was 17 years old. Can you believe that? 17 years old. Sumana coming out as a tall, big girl. She is doing her second PUC. And her parents coming out in tears and sharing, do you remember this girl? We said, yes, we remember. We remember those beautiful times of how she was born and brought to us. We named her and we built a house for that family. They are staying in that house. So we went to her school, met her, and she said her dream is to become a police officer. Yeah. So that was so satisfying a moment for us to do that. So what brings meaning to our life? I think it is those moments of joy looking back to our lives when we recollect those lives that we have touched, when we recollect those families we have been able to uplift and they are living in happiness today. I'm sure that is what brings a feeling to our life. Yes, life was worth it. And their lives have improved and our lives have found meaning. Our lives have found meaning. Similarly, one of those experiences from Nepal, when we went for the earthquake, Nepal earthquake happened, I think, on the 15th of April 2015. Myself and Sibu, we traveled to Nepal in the first flight available from India. And there too, we began to, create shelters for people. Sibu, can I get the charger? Getting charger. So we were, trying to build houses for them. We brought students from Nepal to study here in Bangalore and put them to hotel management program. And one of those great experiences was when 2 years ago, we went back to Kathmandu, and one of those students who came to Bangalore and who did hotel management program, we had helped him to start a small restaurant. So we went back to meet this boy and saw this little restaurant he had set up. He was doing well. And we had nice dinner with him. And this boy was so happy. This boy was so grateful. And he said, Father, our life was totally ruined. But today, I can't believe I am owner of a restaurant in Kathmandu. Maybe what we do might appear to be very small and very very little, very simple for us. Maybe it's a bit of time that we have spent. Maybe it is some moments of, you know, counseling what we have given to someone. Maybe it's a course that we have helped someone to study, but those little helps probably is changing lives permanently for those people. And that is the joy for us. So what brings meaning to our life? I think it is those moments of looking back to those lives that is going to make our life to be joyful. Okay, so friends, I stopped talking here. I also want to listen to your stories of how, you have such inspiring stories in your own life. So I think we should spend some time to listening to those stories as well, or you would like to ask something specific, because time is almost ready and getting over. I can go on, but I think you get the sense of what I'm trying to say.
No, it's not that everybody can go and live with leprosy patients, right? And you have been living with them for many years, and something different you are. So that's what makes you to do that. If you can tell us how how you're making a purpose, giving a purpose to so many people life. We are all inspired by you. So that's when, if you can tell us what makes you to do and how you do that.
I am just amazed at what Jesus has done. The more and more I look at the life of Jesus, what kind of touch that he had given to people. The more and more I'm able to get that core message of Jesus as compassion. Well, it has been that image of Jesus moving from town to town, village to village, house to house, meeting people who are disabled, who cannot walk, who cannot hear. The lady unwanted and misunderstood by everybody. It is definitely the image of Jesus that is my inspiration. Jesus is my hero.
Wow.
Definitely Jesus is my hero.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, he said that I was hungry. You gave me food. I was in prison. You came and saw me. So that exactly fits for you.
Yeah.
So we would be liking to join and support you in whichever way, Father. And we are so proud of you. And I want many people to rise like how you are doing based on that, if they can get inspired.
Yeah, I have a question. I was just wondering, like, because Father, you have a platform which happened to you because of the life that you chose, which was to serve God in the church. Whereas for us, we are all in the world, right? We are we are in the corporate sector, or we are in the teaching institutions, and so on and so forth. So I'm just wondering, for those of us who don't have a platform as yours, which easily puts you in a place where, I mean, there's also the trust factor that comes when you are in such a platform, like you're a father, you're in a ministry, you are connected with the church. Whereas for us, that doesn't happen very often and very easily too. And we don't get to meet people with so much of intense needs. So for us, like everyday life, like how would you, how do we find that meaning and purpose, and how do we live this life with the service mind, like how you are doing your life?
I perfectly understand your question. Because it's always easy to, things definitely have been easier for me as you rightly said, because of whatever I am, the tag of your father, a priest brings in a lot of respectability, and also, people, it's easier to mobilize people, etc. when you are in a position like that. I definitely understand, So when you look at that, we always have the struggle. What can I do? Two things. I don't think Dr. Leda had a platform before COVID, but she realized that there is need to create a platform. So she created a platform. She created the situations. There were things which were difficult for her. She found a way to get it done. Say, for example, I think DRM doesn't have a bank account. You don't have a legal entity. So she asked us whether we can partner with her. We said, of course, why not? You're doing something great. You're doing something what we would like to do. We are here to offer you, our support. So she collaborated with like-minded people, and then she operated. So I would say that if we are deeply convinced that something has to be done, we all have the capability to create structures that are required. So create your structures. Number one. Number two, you can also understand when you share these, thoughts, what you have to do something, you share with your friends and family and other people, they will say, oh my God, I also wanted to do this. I'm so happy you came to me. You will find that such kind of thoughts actually are there in many people's mind. So it is not difficult to mobilize and create a group that can, with whom you can, do these things. The third suggestion is, in case you think that it is difficult for you to create that kind of a situation by yourself, there are many groups which are very actively involved. Associate with them. Contribute in whatever way possible. Maybe as a designer, maybe as a fundraiser, maybe as a creative writer, maybe as a soldier, foot soldier on the ground, maybe as someone who can contribute money. So because associations and organizations like ours, we are able to do only because of the generous contribution of time, ideas, and money by people like you. Okay? So look out for organizations, which are, so many of them are there. You will find them and then work along with them. So if our mind is convinced we should do something, I think there are many ways in which it can be done.
Is there anyone? I think Sunil, Mr. Sunil, your hand is raised. So do you have something to ask? Say, can you unmute yourself and speak?
Yeah, madam. Thank you very much. Father, thank you very much. Thank you for this encouraging talk. I just want to ask you one question, because I have read a book about Christianity in India by Rebecca Shah. So she has written something like they were facing some right-wing groups that have been hindering the purpose of God. And if you have, if you had experiences such things from those right wings, how did you dealt with those people and how you overcame? Thank you.
There are challenges, of course, in working, in the social sphere. There are challenges. Sometimes it can be from, political parties. Sometimes it can be from, religious, groups. Sometimes it can be from government itself. All these possibilities are there. But I want to tell you, Sunil, that much more than negative factors, there are positive factors in the society. There are a lot of people to help us if we get into a trouble. there are a lot of people who would support you if you are in difficulty. So just because of this thought that I can get into a trouble, so best thing is not to keep away, I don't think that should be a solution and attitude. Then we will never do anything. Now, we are thinking of Turkey. I can think of so many things that are, opposing me or saying that I shouldn't be doing anything for Turkey. Why should I do something for Turkey? If you look at history of Turkey and Syria, we as Christians may not like to do anything there. But as human beings, as Christians who are really with that compassionate heart of Jesus, when they are in trouble, I think all the more reason why should go there and do something. So let us not be put down by all those negative, incidences or experiences. Let us look at what positively can be done. And I think whatever little we can do, let us try to do. Let that be our approach.
So I appreciate yours, Father. Like, you should always concentrate on the positive, because as Father is telling, it's not only from the government. Sometimes even religious leaders create problems, and so many places problems can come. But instead of looking to the problem, the people who have got benefited, who gave purpose, who, if you look at them, then you will feel like doing more. So, and one more thing I wanted to ask, Father, like, so many people would have praised you, so many people would have told because of you, but still you remain humble, right? Nothing has gone to your head. Like, when I spoke to you and all, every time you retain that humility, that humbleness, and you treat everybody, the rich and the poor, the same. And that also, is it by the life of Jesus? Do you read the Bible more? And what uh, what stops you from taking the glory to you, but to give it to the Lord?
Well, I personally feel that we should all be doing much more than what we are doing now. And so I'm still, not happy that, our influences are so little. When you're talking about 800 million people in the world who are living with hunger, and you are feeding, a few thousand people, it is still something very small. So I really don't know whether we should, feel very, very glorified about the small things and little things that we do. Of course, I'm happy about whatever we have been able to do, but I think there is much more to be done. And I believe that what we were able to do was because of the inspiration and strength from the Lord, and also the sacrifices of so many people. Is not just my glory. It is the glory of so many people. So I would like it to be shared with all those who have contributed to this in some way or the other.
Sibu, if you can post where people can donate money in the group, kindly post it so that people who would like to do something for this cause, they can do that. And Cordelia, continue. Any more questions you can ask? Father is here.
Okay. I have one more question. Like, I was just wondering, like, how do we become part of this of what you're doing? Like, in what way? I mean, of course, monetarily, yes, but how do we become part in terms of serving? How do we do this?
Today, I got a volunteer coming from Japan. She's going to live in our center for the next 2 months. Okay. We got a medical student from Brazil. His name is Jan. He is there with me for the last 2 months. He is leaving next month. I had John, who was living with me for the last 6 months. He is from Spain, from Mallorca. He was the bank manager, and he felt that I shouldn't be spending my lifetime counting money. So he went and studied physiotherapy, and he was giving massage and physiotherapy to the people in my center. So you are, and I think all of us do have some time. All of us do have some weekends that we can spare. All of us should take a break, I think, from our work and our study, and just go to some place, go to some orphanage or old age home. And I'm not saying only Sumanahali, but there are so many places like that. Try to spend some time with them. Do whatever you can. I'm sure all of you as ladies are good at cooking at least. Go and cook some nice food for these people. Yeah, make some nice cake for them. So there is, if you can't do much, just sit with them and listen to their stories. Or rather tell your stories. Okay? Because most of these people in this kind of centers are nobody to listen to. We are all busy with our work. So when you come as volunteers, sit with them, you lend an ear, listen in ear to them. So they're so happy. They're so happy. So there are so many things that can be done, if you are willing to do this.
So what you're saying is that we could actually come down to your center and be part of your center for like a week, 2 weeks?
Yes.
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 He
Even
told
for
us
a day.
already. We are planning
Even-
to have a DRM workshop 1 day or 2 days there. He told last time also in Sumanahalli. We can have a prayer team there, some half day or even 1 day. So we can plan that.
So, Father, I'm a psychologist and I work with children with special needs here. And you mentioned that you have special needs in Sumanahalli as well. So, what sort of service do you do for these children?
We have an orphanage which is only for children from the background of leprosy, HIV, and disabilities. About 30 of them, they are staying in this orphanage. We have a school where about 350 children are studying from the background of leprosy, HIV, disabilities, and also the poor children from that area. We have children of the leprosy affected people who are very, very young, sharing life with them. So as a psychologist, I'm sure you would be able to come in and identify, because all of them have their own struggles as they grow up. They don't want to be probably known as one of the children from this place, or they don't want to be known as child of an HIV patient. They have so many struggles of growing up. So as psychologists, if you could come and help them to accept the reality of their life and cope up with those struggles that they have as any child growing up, because everybody would like to have their own self-esteem as they grow up as teenagers. But whereas I'm sure these children will have a lot of difficulty, looking at the situation of their parents. So how do you help them to accept those realities and grow up as normal children? A lot of things can be done. You will know the methodology, and you will know the strategies that you could think of in enabling them in that process. We can give an opportunity, and the people who need that service. But what do you do? We can give you the freedom to do it.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else who has a question? I think Sister Majella. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Father, for that wonderful, inspiring, thought-provoking, and in fact, diving my thoughts into doing something for the Lord. I like the way you said, to look positive, even if it's going to be Syria and Turkey, which was way beyond my mind. That, what can I do sitting here? And little drops of water make a mighty ocean. So I can be that one drop if I give it a thought. So giving, if not in cash or kind, at least our time, I think it goes away. I basically belong to Pondicherry, Father, in the Diocese of Pondicherry. So I am here with my son in Texas. And the COVID opened my eyes to giving. I only felt the pain when we saw pain around us. So actually, this is my first meet with the DRM that I entered, and the topic really allured me to join to see what it is in giving. How is it that people are able to give so much and we have the same 24 hours, but they are able to do something great during those 24 hours, whereas we are still stuck here doing our own. So thank you for giving that beautiful inspiration, Father. I work in a bank, I'm a banker. And my thoughts of late is after my retirement, how am I to put, I want to give back to the society. I really want to give back to my society, whatever I have received. So this talk is really, really inspiring. And Mother Teresa has always been a model to me, especially when I read one of her books where she was so selfless. And when we all have the real love for God, it it just passes by everything to do for God's love alone. And she did it only for the God's glory. And I really appreciate that we have such people as you also as a model for us to really go in. I always thought after my retirement, I should go into some of these homes and give them my time taking care. I've been to homes, Father, where I've seen desperate children with abandonment, and it pained my heart so much. So it's thankful that you are allowing us to come forward and help be part of physically, we can give some help. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Sister Christy, for this beautiful talk. Thank you so much.
To all the people who are in the retirement age, I want to tell you, your retirement is at 55, 58, 60. You are still so young. Okay. And with all the experiences, what you have had in your life, that is the most contributive time of your life.
Amen.
Both in ideas, in contacts, also in resources. And most of your lives, commitments are also over. Maybe children are settled. You don't have so much of financial liabilities. Maybe we all have to work for us. And, we have been able to take care of our family till 55, 60. So last 30 years, 40 years, you have been working, living mostly for us. Can you set apart from your 55 to 65 or say 60 to 70, 10 years for the society, for the Lord? I challenge you.
Amen. That's really interesting, Father. Thank you.
Father, I'm a retired civil engineer. Now I am 60. I would like to join to help you in your service. We have already a registered company of Jeremiah Builders. So would you like us to join in your service of constructing houses?
Are you in Bangalore, madam?
Yes, I am in Bangalore near Sarjapur.
Okay. I am looking for a builder for a house we just started. For a person who, in fact, I was in tears that the wife, brought this man on the wheelchair to my office, and this man has never been able to walk because of polio. So this man is on wheelchair. This lady has been working in a garment unit for so long. They have got 3 lovely children, all of whom are studying well. They have a piece of land. Now we have started with a house construction program for them. I'm still looking for a builder. If you are willing, tomorrow we can meet up and start the work day after tomorrow.
I will give your number to her father so that she can message you directly. She is Banu. She is with DRM for quite some time. She recently came to Bangalore 1 year back and she's settled now with her son.
Okay. Sibu will SMS my number.
Yeah, Sibu put his file. Okay.
Yeah. So, madam, if you could get in touch with me,
Yes,
we will see what we can do together.
yeah,
okay?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, housing is a great need. I'm sure this is one area that we have been really wanting to contribute. In fact, I'm very proud to say we have so far constructed 1,500 houses and shelters.
You should have been a civil engineer. You are been all into everything. Food giving houses. What all you didn't do, I was just wondering one day.
Okay, does anybody have any more questions or any comments? Anybody would like to volunteer? If not, thank you for this wonderful evening, everyone. And thank you, Father George, for sharing with us how we could, live a life of service and make our life more meaningful. And thank you for opening the avenues through sharing your ideas with us on how we could, also be contributing members to our society. So thank you very much, and blessed evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for this beautiful time with you all. Let us look forward to what we can do together. I think we must do something for Turkey and Syria. Please put your minds together, share your ideas. And if you get some lead, some connect, please let us know. I think we should move to that place as soon as possible.
Okay, you are a great inspiration. Thank you, Father, once again for speaking here.